Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog channel. I owe you a vlog for tonight and I absolutely do not have the energy to put it together. So I'm making just a house update. The last video that you saw was me going through houses. We had 2 showings today, and unfortunately because it was storming, hailing, the lightning has been lighting up the sky for 2 days. Is Saturday, April 11th, and my brain is fried. We're not packed, as you can see. We have less than 15, 17 days, something like that, to get out of here. We have nowhere to go. We've looked at house after house, and it's just, we're not finding what's suiting our needs. We found one house across town that no one wants to live there. I mean, it's a gorgeous house, but it's out of the way. Then we found another house that's older, that's bigger, that just won't work for our family. It's absolutely not going to work. And I don't know, I'm having a hard time reasoning with my kids, knowing that this house won't work. I mean, it's big enough for sure, but it just won't work. It won't work for practicality. And I'm having a very hard time with that. So I'm gonna jump on the computer right now and show you what we've looked at. I'll do that for you. I'm just gonna show you photos like I have been, because I didn't film the houses. I didn't have time. I mean, you know, what happens is with these houses is we have realtors that are standing around. The only one realtor said, feel free to film it. There was a young kid that showed us the Rockland house, and that one, he probably would have been cool with doing the video. But what I'll do is share with you the Rockland house right now. I'll post his video. We'll watch his video together, and I'll tell you what's good and what's not. So we'll start there, because that's an option. Okay, so I got a phone call, sorry. So that's an option, Rockland. I don't know how I feel about it. I will also show you an option that we have tomorrow. I don't know if we're even going to be able to consider it, but I'll show you that one. If I get lucky enough to share with you the real-time recording of that, I will definitely do that. That's tomorrow. I think we have 2 showings tomorrow. I keep feeling like we have 2 showings. I'm getting my showings mixed up because I have a rolling list, but I keep forgetting. So anyway, I do believe we have 2 showings tomorrow, so if I can film them, I will. The reason why I didn't film the one that I told you that we weren't going to go with today is because the guy was there. There were supposed to be self-showings, and the guy was freaking there, so I couldn't film it. Well, let me go ahead and show you Rockland, and then I'll tell you I'll tell you how I feel about it, and then we'll talk about it. How about that? And then I'll tell you more about tomorrow's showing. I'll do a slideshow on that one tomorrow. The one we're going to see tomorrow, and I'll let you know how my thoughts on it. Hopefully I can film it tomorrow and then upload it for you guys, so you'll see it after this one. And then we'll just talk about it. I don't know. I'm starting to think I want to do like sit down vlogs every day until we move, because I just kind of want to talk it out. So I don't know if I'm going to put this on these kind of vlogs on this channel, or if I have another channel that's I designed for just talking to a camera. So I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I definitely encourage you guys to hang out and just subscribe to that channel if you like talking vlogs. Sorry, the dryer stopped. But let's go ahead and jump on the computer, and I'll show you what we saw today. Maybe not what we saw today. Am I going to show you what we saw today? I guess I can. And then I'll show you the 2 options that we're thinking about. I don't know. Anyway, let's start with the house that's the furthest away. and then I'll come back and tell you my thoughts on that one.
This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath with granite countertops, central cooling and heat. Let's check it out. Once you enter, you're going to see your spacious living room, spacious entryway, and to the right, you will have the first bedroom right here. You're going to have a overhead fan, sliding door closet, and then moving over here, you're going to have the shared bathroom with a walk-in shower. Then moving over here to the next room. I'll show you a closet first. And then the next room to the right is going to be the master bedroom. You're going to have a view of your outside garden, another overhead fan, and then a giant sliding door to get into your bathroom. And to get into your bathroom, you're going to have large countertops with a lot of spacing under, and a humongous shower. Then there's going to be a toilet, and this is going to be a humongous walk-in closet for all the clothes you could have. And after all that, we're going to go make our way to the living room. Some more storage space. This is going to be the living room right here. Another overhead fan overlooking your backyard. And then a giant island with granite countertops. Looking over all the other appliances you will have. Refrigerator, oven, dishwasher right there. This is going to be your dining room. Another look into the outdoors. 2 giant windows. We'll give you a look at the outside while we're here. This is going to be another overhead fan. And looking around, you're going to have faucet, and there's your garden. Let's go back in. We're going down this hallway over here. You're going to go and see a pantry for all the snacks and food you can use. And then over here, you're going to have the laundry room with the washer and dryer and a sink with a lot of space and cabinets to put any type of things you would need. This is going to be the garage right here. It's a little dark. That's better. A lot of space, 2-car garage. Can't go wrong with that. And moving up these stairs, we're going to have 2 more bedrooms and a loft. This is going to be the carpet portion of your guys' house. You're going to have a little space to look into your front yard. Down this way, we'll show you the loft. You're going to have a little space here to put wherever you want. Any type of needs. And we'll get to show you both of these bedrooms. Over here, we're going to see another overhead fan, carpet flooring and tile in here. You're going to have a bathtub, toilet paper, and more space for your things you need in a bathroom. This is going to be your closet. And across the hall, right over here, just about the same room. No walk-in closet though. You have sliding doors, overhead fan, and then bathroom connected to yours right here. This is going to be your spacious countertop sink, a walk-in shower as well, and your toilet.
Okay, hi guys. I am coming in. This is editing me, and this is real time. So I'm going to throw this clip in between this. So it's about 9:29 on Monday. I just want to tell you guys, I owe you Sunday vlog and today's vlog. So this vlog is going to go out probably almost towards midnight. I am going to try to throw together probably a grocery haul that I filmed maybe, last week. So that's going to fill Wednesday. So I'm just kind of giving you a rundown if you're watching the vlog. So thank you so much. I'm really glad I'm doing this because how I have always done this has been different than the way that I'm doing it now. I watched a girl that lives in New York City. I watch a lot of young creators, like maybe late 20s, early 30s that live in New York City. And one of the creators that I watch took us on this journey of her finding an apartment, and she was explaining the apartments in New York and so forth. And she had literally filmed, I would say probably 35 apartments, until she found the one that she liked. I mean, really, she was working a full-time job. She was doing YouTube, and then she was also touring apartments, which I'm sure was a lot on her plate. But I'm really glad that I'm doing this. So I'm going to give you an update of what happened today because it's Monday, the 13th of April. It's 2 days later, and this clip is going to be intermingled with this one. So I filmed that clip when I did my update for my channel on Saturday, I think. And then it did rain. So you saw that it rained. But so here's what happened is we had 2 showings, I believe, on Saturday, which was the 11th, which is what you're watching right now. We were supposed to have 2 showings on Sunday, which was the 12th, which was yesterday, my son's birthday. My son told me in advance that he would be busy. I knew he would. However, there was a showing that we were supposed to go to where I got this notification from Zillow that the property was off market. It was probably around noon. We were getting ready to leave, and I got this message on my phone, and I looked on the computer, and it's all of a sudden it said off market. So I was like, oh crap, and I had no direct way to contact this owner. And it's so funny that we were just gonna look at this house. It just came up and we thought, okay, we're gonna go see it. Well, our showing was at 1, and then I got this notification that this property was off market. So I was like, crap. So I told my mom, I said, I guess we're not gonna go, because the reason why we didn't go is because the drive was probably, I would say, maybe 40 minutes away from where we are right now. So we were like, why would we drive 40 minutes if the place is off market? Well, lo and behold, the owner did not know that we got this notification, and the owner had went to that house waiting for us. I mean, for a while, all the way up until 2:15 or something. And I emailed the owner. It was right after I got the notification that it was off market, and it was 1:30. So our appointment was at 1. I emailed the owner at 1:30, and I said, this said it was off market. Is that true? The reason why I didn't go is because it said off market before 1 o'clock because we were going to leave at noon. And then I got this notification, and I was like, I wonder if I should, reach out to the owner and ask them if the property is off market. Well, we got this notification. I got this reply from the owner saying, no, I've been waiting. I didn't know that. Even they apologized. They said, I'm so sorry. And they also mentioned that happened to someone else. That's what they said. She said that I had someone else tell me that too. So we felt a little bit relieved that, that owner was not treating us as we were a no-show, So I asked the owner on Saturday, I said, well, I'm so sorry, or Sunday, I'm sorry, this was Sunday. This was just yesterday, actually. And I said, is there any way that we can see it, later this evening? Because I was trying to reschedule it, and I kept telling the owner, I was like, this reschedule is saying 8:30, and we're not going to go to see this property at night. We don't do night showings, because I would never do that anyway. So the owner responds and says, well, I'm so sorry. I don't understand why it's doing that, why it's telling you 8:30 at night. Because it was literally saying 8:30 at night. I'm like, I'm not doing that. My son was busy. It was his birthday, so he couldn't come. And my mom's 79, and I'm, my 50s. I'm not going to go somewhere at night. So, and plus you just can't see at night anyway. So I said, is there any way that you can show it to us this afternoon, today? Today is April 13th. It's 9:34 at night. But this was earlier today, but they didn't answer me. And I was like, that's strange, And so we had a showing in Roseville, in a city of Roseville, which is a county over from where we are. And that showing was at 2. And so I thought to myself, there were a few addresses that we had, and we were like, well, let's just go drive over here and drive over there. And so there was a house. I was like, you know what, since we're in the area, let's do this smart and let's go to this area, which is Granite Bay. It's called Granite Bay. It's a very elite area. And they built these brand new houses or something over there, affordable houses over there, not affordable housing, but affordable houses over there. And there was supposed to be one that was empty and available. And I thought, let's go see it. It was a little bit smaller than we wanted, but I thought, since my mom and I were together, I was like, well, let's just go, you know what I mean? Let's just go look at it. So we went to see these houses, and there was one it's so cute. It was so cute. And it was such a great area. So it was like these brand new developments in this like cul-de-sac circle type thing, not a cul-de-sac traditionally, but like a circle of this small community of brand new homes that were built. They're all rentals, I think. Maybe they're not, because one said sold in the window. So I was like, okay, maybe this one's sold. So, but there were 2 facing each other, and we knew the addresses. And so I called the property management company, and I said, hey, is there a chance that we can see this? Because they were self-showings. And the lady said, oh, unfortunately this one got rented. And I was like, oh man. And then she said, but there's one across the way, which we were parked in front of. And she said, this one's available. And I said, really? But it was smaller. It was I think it was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath or something. And we need a minimum of 3 to 3.5 bathrooms. Because we're all adults. We don't want to share bathrooms. So I was like, it's just too small. But she said, but I just found out I got another one in this area. She's like, and she gave me the address. She goes, if you guys are interested, go ahead and apply to see it. And so I did. I booked a tour for that one, but not today. I couldn't get it in today. So after that, we were like, well, let's just go and drive by the house that we missed yesterday. Girl, that house was beyond. I mean, it was a dream. It was a dream. It was so pretty. That house was so pretty. It was breathtaking, actually. Beautiful lawn, 3-car garage, immaculate front, just like those suburban houses you see in movies, And I knew the area, but I didn't know this particular area. And I was like, oh my God. So I reached out to the owner and I said, hey, we just drove by this house. I said, is there any way that you can show it to us today? I said, my son gets off at 5. Can we see it at 5:30? And she said, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, she was like, I guess it was a her, I don't know. They said, or this person said, oh, I rented it this morning. But I believe it though, because what happened was I think this woman had a showing before us, because she's the owner, or he or she is the owner. And they had a showing before us and we didn't show up. So either this couple or whoever saw it, whatever person rented it, was either after us or before us. So that was unfortunate. It really was. Because we would have jumped on that house, girl, like nobody's business. That house was fucking amazing. It was 3,600 square feet or something like that. It was only $4,100 or something. It was, for what you got, trust me, that house was beyond dreamy. And my mom was like, oh my God, I'm in love with this house. And I said, Mom, you know what I mean? Like there was nothing we could do. So, and it is true. Cause at first I thought she was just bullshitting us, or this person, but no, they took it off the market. So we were like, oh, so there was another one in the same area, but it was in a lower part of the area. And that showing was supposed to be tomorrow on Tuesday, the 14th at noon. Well, I got a message earlier today saying that the tenants in there have COVID. So there was no way we can see it. So I just want to let you guys know what's going on. So now I'm going to talk about this house. Okay, this house, this Gentle Breeze house. We'll just call it the Gentle Breeze house. This one, I just want to tell you, because I know this is the property management guy that showed us this house. So we had 2 options. We had one in a city here locally called Folsom, which we were already in the middle of doing a lease for that one. We were, but there were some downsides to that lease. The downside was that it had to be a 2-year lease. And it was above. My son's plan was only to be with us for about a year beyond, moving forward. And the lady had asked us in the beginning if we were interested in a 2-year lease, and we just said yes because we didn't want to lose the opportunity to, to be considered for this house. So we applied for this house probably 2 weeks ago when it first was on the market, and we went the first day of the showing. We were there on time, and we actually applied for this house before we saw it, so that was kind of cool. And she asked us, she said, "Who are you? Let me pull your apps," or whatever. So she presented our apps to the owners, and we were not their first pick. We weren't. So we didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden we got this email from her asking us if we were still interested. We said yes, but here's what happened is we were going to take the house. We said yes and everything. I mean, on the email, we didn't sign or anything, but we started evaluating this house and the structure of the house. And we started really looking at the pictures closely. And I can go through this house if you want to. Maybe I'll show you, maybe as I'm talking about it. I don't know. So this is the house that we passed up. This is the front of it, the doorway. This is the entrance of the front room from the left side, from the right side, by the front door. This is the half bath. This is the side of the stairwell. This is the corridor where I was explaining that we might have to put my mom in this bottom room. Too far, isolated. No bueno on that one. This is the inside of that room. This is the bathroom with the step-in shower downstairs. This is outside of that bathroom. In that hallway is these French doors in the middle of the hallway that go out to a cemented patio. So here, when you open the French doors, that is what you see. This is when you close the French doors and go outside and turn around. They took a photo of what it looks like. This is the main formal dining room. This is another angle of the formal dining room. Another angle of the formal dining room. Another picture of the French doors. Whoever took these photos was really taken back by the French doors. This house has a lot of windows, a lot of French doors and things like that. That's what gives it a vintage vibe. Another angle of the formal dining room. Then you have your kitchen and your living room. You have another angle of the kitchen that has about 5 different backsplashes on it and about 3 different countertops, meaning it's got about 4 or 5 different patterns going on there with older cabinets. It's got a microwave and an older stove. I think this house was built in the 90s as well. So the older builds are a better option because the rooms are bigger, but if they are not upgraded or renovated, then you're kind of stuck with the old school style of, cabinets and things like that. So this is another wide shot of the kitchen. As you can see, there's 4 or 5 different patterns of backsplash there, and then 2 or 3 different countertops, which to me doesn't make sense. And I don't know why they did that, but they did. So as you can see, the sink has a different countertop. The bar, whatever they attach to the sink cabinetry has a different countertop. The kitchen there by the stove has a different countertop. The backsplash on the wall has a different countertop. So just strange, absolutely strange. Then this is the living room. Don't know what's going on here. It's very narrow. It's hard to position. Then you have another angle of that. Then you go upstairs, and this is one angle of the hallway with the bedrooms. Another angle of the hallway with the French doors. Another angle of the hallway with some cabinetry. One of the rooms, that's not an optical illusion or the room manipulated. That is actually the walls. It is not a straight room. The walls expand. So it's very hard to figure out how you would position furniture in this room. You probably have to AI it, to be honest. This one too. These walls are very slanted and octagon-ish. Then you have some more French doors. This is a 3rd bedroom upstairs, which is still octagon. It's not straight at all. So you would have to figure out how to put your bed there. Even if you put your bed in the middle of the wall there by the window, the window's going to be offset because the window's not centered, as you can see. So it's just a very odd shaped room. Then you have the Jack and Jill bathroom, which has an entryway on each side of the bathroom with a double sink. And then you have the toilet and the tub shower. That is something my mom couldn't do. As you can see, I'm not a big fan of glass doors. I prefer shower curtains, but that is what's in here. Then this is the master, which is about 550 square feet inside. So it's huge. It's got one side for like a lounge area and the other side for like a nook area. And then be in this open way here is where you would put your bed and stuff. So one side of the room, then this is kind of a closer shot of the indented part of the room. Then you have the bedroom area where you put your bed and your nightstands and so forth. And then another angle of the inside of that bedroom portion. Again, walls not straight. They're very slanted and very odd. You have your bathroom, which is carpeted, the shower, which is a step in. You've got your double vanities, one on each side, and the tub. These, again, this house was made in the 90s, so they did not upgrade anything. They haven't upgraded the cabinets. They haven't upgraded the sinks. Nothing. Nothing is upgraded or current or modern in this house, which is fine. It's totally fine because vintage builds are bigger anyway. They have more space in them. So I love the vintage vibe, but at the same time, you know, it's a bit of a finagle to figure out how you're going to do things. This is a closet, one side of the closet. This is a separate closet. Additional. That's a separate additional closet. This is the laundry room with a sink. This is the 3-car garage. It's called a tandem, which means beyond the garage, double car garage is the indented part where you can put storage and things like that. This is the backyard. Remember, this house is built on a golf course. So it was very pretty view, but just not appropriate and didn't accommodate our family's needs. This is the back of the house. As you can see, there's lots and lots of windows in this house. There you go. And then this is another view of the front of the house. And those gaudy, forsaken rocks that are uglier than I can tell you. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but this is the vibe back in the 90s. This is part of the house furnished. As you can see, the people that furnished this house didn't have anything on the walls necessarily, so it's really hard to gauge what it would look like with greenery, with lots of lamps and tables and, you know, wall art and stuff like that. But it does give you an idea, if you were to put some furniture in here, how it would mesh. If I was them, just in my own personal opinion, I would have put my large chair and my sectional in the front room and put the other furniture in this room. But maybe they're just fans of the sectional and wanted it close by. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is the way they furnished it. So okay. And that is this house that we passed on because it just wasn't, it didn't suit our family's needs. So I don't understand why this whole family has their beds on the floor. I just find that interesting. I don't know how anybody can have their bed on the floor. I mean, the only time I've ever had my bed on the floor is when we're moving and my frame can't be up, but I just don't understand people that do beds on the floor. To me, it's weird, but you know, maybe some people just don't like frames. I don't know. All right. That is this house furnished. And this is the house that we decided not to go with. It was just an odd situation. So I don't believe in putting beds against the wall either. That's just not, it's not good for the wall. It's not good for the paint. It's not good for your linens. So for me, I would have tried to finagle the furniture in a different way. It looks like they had a child or something. So they might've been afraid of him or her falling off, but I would have just bought guards, you know, like the bed against the wall is just, to me, not a good idea, but this is the way that they had it furnished. So. All right, you guys, this is the house that we decided not to take. So let's get back to the video. But one thing I noticed about this house that we were going to commit to is, one, it was a 2-year lease, meaning that if my son left, we couldn't afford to carry that house. Also, my son would have been on a lease for 2 years and he wouldn't have been able to get out of it anyway. 2 is that my mom was not for the master. I don't know why. I mean, the master was like a whole studio. It was so large. That master in itself was probably about I would say 800 square feet. I mean, it was huge. I'm not kidding. It had a huge closet, a huge bathroom. It was so strange. It was like the back end of the room was like more where you would put your bed and everything. And then in the front of the room was 2 sides, almost like a family room and a dining. I mean, if you've ever seen 2 rooms split like that. So I thought it was perfect for her because when we were in there, I was like, hey, we can set you up. You know, you can have your TV and your recliner and all this kind of stuff. And then over here, we can put your desk and everything. And then in this space, we can do your bed. And she was like, oh my God, no, it's too big. I go, I'm overwhelmed. And okay. So she was like, well, this is perfect for grandson. and she was like, well, because when we were looking, my son had always anticipated that what we were looking for him would be downstairs, or like a new generational home, meaning that the new generational homes here where we live, they're brand new builds, but they're sectioned off. So they're like almost like they come with a kitchenette, a refrigerator, a washer and dryer. They come with a separate entrance in the house, and they have them in this area, but they just haven't had any. They have a couple that we're looking at right now, but we can't seem to find that particular thing. So my mom was like, well, I'll just take an extra room and he can have the master. And I said, are you absolutely sure you want to do that? You know, you've always had the master. You've always needed a large closet. You know, but here's what happened with that house is that we started evaluating, because I was like, well, okay, if you want to give grandson the master bedroom, then we'll just split. We'll give you 2 rooms. We'll make an office and a sewing room for 1 room, and then we'll put you in a regular room. Well, what happened with that was that we couldn't do it. We could not do that because the main bathroom, first of all, it was a Jack and Jill, so it had an opening on each side. It had a double sink, which I'll show you pictures as well. So it had the double sinks like long ways, and then it had the tub and shower, I think, was together, but it had a tub. And my mother cannot step over tubs. She's very terrified of that. She does not want to deal with that. She tried to do that before we found this house when she was staying with me at our townhouse, because we didn't have a choice. And getting in and out of the tub was very nerve-wracking for her. She was like, I don't want to do this. I just need a step shower. I don't want this. So in that house that we were going to obligate ourselves to, there were 3 rooms upstairs, a laundry room, the master way in the corner, and then there was a family room, a formal dining room, and a second family room across from the kitchen. Very tiny pantry. They were going to install a refrigerator in there. There was a 3-car garage. It was a tandem garage, meaning that it was a double car garage, but it had an extended back, you know, for the 3rd car part of the garage. But there was a room down the hallway of the kitchen. So this house that I'm talking about was almost 3,600 square feet. So it was huge. But I did not want my mother in the corner on the bottom where we couldn't hear anything. No, that wasn't happening. Wasn't going to shove my mom in some tiny little room on the bottom floor where all of us are upstairs and she's downstairs. I can't hear her. I don't know what's going on, all because there was a step shower in that extra bedroom. No, that's just a recipe for disaster. Also, that room that I'm speaking of had just a wall closet, like, you know, just a sliding door wall closet. No, not going to work for her, because one of my mom's things is that she likes to store a lot of stuff in her closet. That's always been her thing for years. So, because she's always had the master. So even though we had said yes to the woman, I just kept thinking this isn't going to work, you know, because I was trying to find ways to put her upstairs. But then she would have had to gone all the way downstairs to take a shower every day or every other day or whatever she does. And then if she was nervous because, you know, she's aging and stuff, and she has her own little routine at night. So she was like, I can't do this. Now, there was one room in the middle of the 3 rooms I'm referring to that had a walk-in closet. So that would have gave her a little bit of space. But it just wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. No matter what we do, no matter how we would have done it, it would not have worked. Because if it would have been a different situation if the bathroom upstairs would have been a step shower. But, you know, it didn't work, okay? It just didn't work, okay? I mean, I'm just going to let you know. So we ended up changing our mind on that one, and that was it. And I just told my son, I said, listen, I know this is seems like a good deal, but it's really not. It's not appropriate for her. It's not fitting. It's just not going to suit her needs. And that's true. Now, if she would have took the master, it would have been a different story. But she was against the master. She felt bad, and she was just like, also, she just felt like she was consumed by the master, and she felt like, I don't know what really was the deal with that. Like, if she just felt like she was stuck up there, you know, or maybe she felt like she needed to be up there. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, it didn't work. So we sat on it. And I ended up emailing the lady yesterday on Sunday and said, I'm sorry, it's just not going to suit her needs. You guys, I can't have my mom falling. I can't. She's already limping. My mom's 79 years old. I know that's a recipe for disaster. Another downside of that home was, although we had agreed that we would go to that city, we don't know it. Her or I don't know that city at all. I mean, not to say that we couldn't adapt to it, but I don't want to put my mom somewhere where she's going to be absolutely miserable, and then that makes her health decline. I don't want to do that. I refuse to do that. So I was not going to do that. Now let's talk about the video that we just saw a moment ago. That is the Rockland house. Now the Rockland house is another situation. The bottom suite that, I don't know if you guys remember, but he walked in the front door. He showed you the entryway. Then facing as you walk in, as he showed you, is the living room. Then there's the kitchen. The kitchen's gorgeous. It's big. It's great. She loves that kitchen. She was always in love with that kitchen. To the right of the kitchen is a dining room, which is perfectly fine. The backyard is perfect for Bella, our dog. The rooms, again, are an issue. So one of the rooms is downstairs. Now, he walked in there and he showed you the room downstairs that has a step-in shower. The problem with the extra rooms in these new builds is they are tiny. When I say tiny, they are 10 by 12. We are used to having rooms that are at least 14 by 14. The room that she has now, I want to say, is probably 16 by 18, maybe, something like that. 16 feet by 18 feet, where she has enough room for her queen bed, her nightstands, and the night. I don't know if you guys remember, or if you're new to my channel, I bought myself a beige neutral headboard that I picked out, and then I also bought myself some beige wide nightstands. They're 32 inches across. I got them from Temu. I did a video on my main channel. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll link it below. But I bought a lot of furniture from Temu over the last year or so, maybe year and a half. And so when my mom got situated in this bedroom, she took my bed that I chose, my frame, and then she also took my nightstand. So those nightstands are really wide. If you took a measuring tape and did 32 inches wide, think of a 32-inch TV. That's how wide those nightstands are. So in her room, 16 by 18 feet, maybe even a little bit bigger than that. Maybe there's 20 feet perhaps. But right now she's got enough room in that room for her queen bed in the middle of the room against the wall, with her two nightstands on the side of her queen bed. Then she has a recliner to the left, and then she has her TV in the front, and she has, her dresser beside that, a little bit of space. That room is very spacious. And then she has a giant walk-in closet. She has the master bedroom, the master bathroom, and it has a step shower. It's not, what my mom needs for comfort and for safety is a wide walk-in shower. But a lot of the showers that we see in these homes we've been visiting or touring are just narrow showers. They're not super narrow, but she needs a little bit of a pathway. Do you know what I mean? Like a little bit of a wide shower. Because she's starting to limp. She's having hip problems. So with that is the issue with the Rockland house. So when he went upstairs to show you the two bedrooms, he shows you one bedroom I think he walked up the stairs. He goes into the right side of the room, if I'm not mistaken, and he shows you one of the rooms that has a wall closet and a walk-in shower. Then he goes to the left and shows you another room that has a did I say walk-in closet? I think, okay, so if you go up the stairs like we did in the video, like he says upstairs, I'm going to take you upstairs. Then he tells you there's a little bit of an indenture there, space, if you guys remember from the video. And I know it's hard to remember now when I'm talking, but I'm just kind of reiterating. So he's going up the stairs. There's like 5 or 6 stairs. Then there's a break. Then there's like, 8 or 10 stairs. And then if you go to the right, there's like a little bit of you could set up probably a little station, maybe an entryway table or something like that, like a buffet table or something small. But beyond that is a room. So on that right side of the room is, it's supposed to be considered a junior suite upstairs and a regular room. The room on the right side, if you're going up the stairs and you just look to the right, that one has a walk-in shower, but the closet is a wall closet. The junior suite, whatever that's called, has a wall closet, or I'm sorry, a walk-in closet with a tub shower. She cannot do a tub shower, no matter what. Also, the rooms are probably, I'm going to say 10 by 12. I'm not going to say 12 by 14 because I just don't think that's true. I could be wrong, but I really don't. I think they're probably maybe 10 and a half feet by maybe 12 and a half feet, maybe, which means that they look smaller than they really are. But when you put a bed in there and you put your nightstands in there, you know, and you try to put a little bit of furniture in there, maybe a chair or something, it's not like we can't put her in there because there is a giant loft. And although I usually use the loft, I can definitely make it like a loft slash little family room situation, because we have downstairs the living room, and then we have the kitchen, we have the dining room, and then she can come upstairs, which my mom doesn't really hang out. That's not her thing. But her thing is watching TV in her room. She has to be able to watch TV in her room. That's what she does. She spends a little bit of time downstairs, you know, maybe makes something to eat or whatever. She might want to hang out in the living room for a little while, but her thing is she goes and retreats to her bedroom every single day. That is what she does. She does it in the morning and she does it in the afternoon. And the Rockland house, I just don't think is going to work. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to make that work because I feel like maybe, but the problem with the issue with what we're running into is the rooms. It's like, if we could find a house with 2 master suites, that would be fantastic. It would be absolutely fantastic because we were expecting to find some kind of a suite upstairs with a walk-in bathroom for Nick, or I'm sorry, for my mom, and then some kind of suite or next generational situation for Nick, which would have been, you know, the kitchenette, the refrigerator, the washer and dryer, the whole thing. And that's what we're running into. So I just kind of wanted to pop in and let you guys know we are less than 15 days out to be out, and we don't have an option. We are running around with our heads cut off. We're not packed, not even close. We haven't even started packing. I have 2 houses that I need to pack. You know, we have a county pickup on the 22nd of April where I have to go in my garage at the other house and I have to decide what I want to get rid of to minimize what we're going to move. But we are really against a wall. And I have been scouring the internet, you guys. I've scoured Zillow. I've scoured Trulia. I've scoured Zumper. There's several different websites that I use to find homes, and I cannot find one. That house that we saw today in Fair Oaks would have been perfect. It would have been beyond perfect. But she rented it. So, and I keep blaming myself, like I should have known something better and I should have showed up for that showing. But it's set off market, you know? So we are really in a crunch right now. We don't know what we're going to do. We really don't.